We have Al Abdallah on the stage.
He got lost. I just told him to go have a seat in the regular seating.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? It happens. It's par for the course up here.
Brian, by the way, his last name is Debaja, not Debaha.
Great. All right. Well, take it away, Fadi.
All right, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Hi. Hey, this is Talithia. How do I get on the stage?
Al can actually show you that. He's a pro at that. You can click on stand up. Click on the stand up button on the bottom of the window. See where it says stage zoom, stand up, and raise hand. You can click on stand up and then drag yourself up to click on somewhere on stage, one of the seats, and you can go have a seat right there. You're making your way, Talitha?
Yes, thank you.
I see her.
Yep, I see her too. Welcome to the stage. Brian, are we gonna wait for see who's missing here? Michelle's here, Garen's here, Talitha, everybody's here.
Yeah, everybody's here, so you can take it away if you like. We
Good.
see Al out there running around in the audience.
Yeah, that's all he does. He just runs around.
Is he part of your team?
Yeah, he actually runs the Dearborn office in Metro Detroit for EXP.
Oh yeah.
One of the top producers. He actually
So is he a fellow icon?
Yes, he is. He actually has a
Awesome.
team.
Well, you know, we're gonna have to get him on the stage because you know what? I can tell he's itching to get up here.
He's just on it like maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago. He does these a lot. So
No, I'll give you guys a spotlight. I'll just watch.
Next time, Al. Next time. Sound good?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Excited to watch this. Good luck, guys.
You know I'm gonna hit you up for it.
Ready when you are.
Right on. I'll send you workplace chat now.
all right.
All right,
Good
Fadi,
morning,
take it
everybody.
away.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Hope all is well. Hope everybody had a successful August and looking forward to an even more successful September and try to knock out the rest of the year. My name is Fadi Dabajo. I'm an associate broker here in Michigan. I'm also a licensed mortgage loan originator and a licensed builder and a father and a husband and so much more. Well, it'll take forever to get there. This is technically my first official full year today at EXP. I was I was a mortgage loan officer originally when I first started in the business back in 2002, and then switched over to real estate in 2010, and went to all the big box real estate brokerages, and finally came down to earth and realized that EXP is the place to be. So I joined exactly September 1st last year, and this is going to be my full first year today. I capped 3 months in, and I icon 6 months in. And hopefully next year is going to be a very, very successful year for me. And the reason why I'm here is to celebrate everybody else that is an icon agent. And whoever isn't an icon agent, we are going to all, hopefully with these masterminds and these sessions that we have here in the world, along with whatever local coaching and training that you guys have, everybody become an icon agent, everybody cap, everybody be successful. All right, so we're going to be starting off with a few topics and a few questions that I think that everybody can benefit from. I'm going to start off with Michelle. Michelle, how are you today?
Really good, thanks. How about you?
Awesome. Let's start off with telling us a little bit about yourself.
I am a Calgary. I live in Calgary, Alberta. I have been at EXP for just over 3 years. I've been a real estate agent for just over 4. I spent my first year at also a big box brokerage, and figured out that EXP was the only place to be. And I iconed first year, second year, third. So I'm 3-time icon, and yeah, having a great year. I recently joined up with another woman. January 1st, we decided to start working together so that we could actually have a bit of a life and help one another out. So that's really been working great. So yeah, overall, just everything's good. I'm happy. I love EXP. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, that's great. 3 years in a row, huh?
Yeah.
That's my goal too.
I'm chasing Elizabeth Riley. For anybody who doesn't know Elizabeth Riley, she's 8-time icon. Yeah. So when you go to the EXP con at the icon, they have a special event for icons, and they ask you to stand up if you've been a 1-time icon, sit down, stand up if you've been 2 times, 3 times, and then like literally 8-time. There's only like 2 people there. One is Elizabeth Riley, so she's my idol.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, hopefully we can all follow in everybody's footsteps here and gain some knowledge, and we all be icons year after year. Let's do it.
Yep.
All right. Next up to bat is Darren. Darren, how are you today?
Hey, doing great, everybody. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I got my real estate license in 2014. Kind of as a side hustle, I was a computer software engineer, and then I started flipping houses, which was also a side hustle, and turns into a pretty big business. I was at Remax for 10 years, and I just joined EXP last year. Iconed my first year, and we've capped already this year. We're just trying to get our cap fees taken care of, and we'll be a second year icon. So yeah, I feel like so we're custom home building right now. We've got a big rental portfolio, and I've got a real estate team that grew from when we were at Remax. We had 4 agents, and now we have 14 agents on our team, and we have 25 people in our downline, so in our organization. So quite a bit of growth in the last year, which is all made possible by EXP and my upline.
That's amazing, man. We should do some business together. You're my neighbor here in Ohio. It's awesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get it done. Next up to bat, hopefully I can pronounce this right. Is it Harsimran? How do you pronounce that? You got to turn your mic on, bottom left-hand side. Harsimran? Mr. Singh, you there? Probably having some audio difficulties. We'll skip over and come back. Yeah, we'll come back over to you. Let's go to Talithia. How are you, Talithia?
Hello, I'm well. My name is Talithia Morris. I'm licensed in Virginia, Northern Virginia. I serve and as well as Southern Maryland. And I started my first year at Keller Williams, and 10 months in, this this agent that had helped me a little bit there, she was like, "Hey, if I switch to EXP, will you come with me? I'll help you." And I was like, "Sure." I mean, I didn't know what it was or anything like that. So switched over, and she did help me. And I have been I'm on track to do my 4th icon this year. I think I have until December, so I'm pretty sure I'll be fine. And then I think I'm in my 6th year right now. So um no team or anything, just a solo agent. Have a 10-month-old. Well, he'll be 10 months next week. So this past year has been kind of interesting with trying to be a first time mom and maintain a real estate business, so forth. But happy to be here and share whatever I can to help others potentially be successful.
Well, how did you feel? Sorry about that. I just want a quick question. How did you feel the transition from KW over to EXP? Was it easy? Was it smooth?
Well, it was kind of smooth because I was hesitant to switch when I did because I was on track to be rookie of the year there. And
Nice.
but I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and switch now. So I didn't get it, but the team lead had I didn't even know he knew my name at the time, and he's like, "Oh, you're on track to be rookie of the year." So I was like,
Nice,
"Oh, he knows
nice.
my name." But I felt like it was a smooth transition. My first 2 years, I was a dual career, and then I think into my third year, it just didn't make sense anymore to, you know, work full time and then try to pursue real estate full time. So,
Got it.
um, I yeah, I think just overall, I was kind of newly in, and the main reason why I switched there, well, did there was because the sponsor, I took the education through her and then I joined there, but uh, they always advertised that they would do these trainings and everything, but I was dual career, so I was never able to attend any of them. And they said they were going to do nighttime trainings, and they kind of never really happened. So I didn't really, there was no like significant reason for me to stay or anything like that. So, and I didn't have any
Got it.
ties to them. Yeah,
Got it. Got it. Well, that's the beauty of EXP is that there's trainings literally 24/7, whether it's with local
exactly.
offices, local branches, EXP World, Google or Meets on Zoom, on everything. I mean, there's so much training here at EXP that there's not enough for everybody. It's just too much for everybody. I'm sorry. We are missing Mr. Singh. I think he's trying to log back in. So I'm going to start with the questions until he actually comes in here so we can try to provide as much value as possible. Again, welcome everybody over here in the audience, and it looks like we have a good amount of people, which is great. I'm going to start off by asking Michelle, and then everybody else can. I'll repeat the question to everybody else. Obviously, the most important thing for a realtor is to actually have clients, right? So, in order to gain clients or to have clients in your, your CRM and your portfolio, whatever you want to call it, in your phone book, you need to generate leads. There's so many different ways to generate leads. My question to everybody is, what strategies do you have that you feel are like the most effective ways to generate leads? What is your main sources, and how did you get there? Especially with the kind of market that we're in right now. Michelle?
Um, I think that probably we have a slightly different market in Canada than you guys do in the US because we are actually really busy right now and things are going in, like especially in Calgary, things are going into multiple offers and selling in, a weekend. But that wasn't always the case. When I first started, it was the year before COVID, and those were the days when things were on the market 180 days, and it was a grind. But for me, I remember my mentor telling me, don't be a secret agent. Like, don't, if people don't know you're a real estate agent, they can't ask you to sell their house or help them buy a house. So I always remembered that, and I reached out to my circle right away when I first started, and previous contacts from other business connections, and just let them know what I was up to, and always from the point of view of providing value as opposed to being super salesy. I just reached out, how can I help or whatever, and I still do that. Like, I have conversations everywhere I go with people, uh, not saying I'm a real estate agent, but just asking questions because I am genuinely interested in people's lives. So if I'm at the dog park and I'm chatting somebody up, I'm just asking, and they always, it's shocking how many people are buying and selling or know somebody who are buying and selling houses, and how natural it just becomes, because when you do tell people you're a real estate agent, when it's appropriate to do so, they always want to ask questions. They always want to talk about, everybody always wants to talk about real estate. So that's my thing. I always reach out to my circle. I connect with my database regularly by email, by dropping off gifts, by remembering birthdays, by mailing out cards. I handwrite notes, send them out. I'm just always connecting with people, and I just get repeat referral.
Beautiful. So that's one of the old school, ways of generating leads, because obviously technology wasn't available back then, and I think it's the most effective way to actually generate business. And you actually, obviously, you're killing it. I mean, year after year, you're becoming icon, so it's really working, and you're obviously doubling down on that. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like and I genuinely care about people, and it shows. Like, I reach out whenever I can, whenever I see something that somebody might be interested in, or I just constantly connecting with people.
Nice, nice. So you basically come out in a sense of where you're approaching them with, how can I help you? Like you're working as of service, and you don't walk around with commission breath. And that's a lot of agents out there have to understand that we're here to service and help, and
Yeah.
we're not here just for a commission. So you're doing a great job. Awesome, Michelle.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, Darren, how do you generate leads? How do you work your leads? How do you gain business?
Sure,
Talk to
sure.
us.
So marketing is key, and when it all boils down to whether you're going to be successful or not, I think the big hurdle is really how well are you at marketing. And, I feel like after you do a couple transactions, you start to get the hang of that part, but attracting business really is one of the main things that you have to learn how to do in this business. So, um, but because I was an investor before I was a real estate agent, I actually got my real estate license to just facilitate buying and selling of my investment flips. And so we flipped about 100 homes between 2012 and 2018 or 19 when we stopped doing that. And so I can't help with that part, but what I can help you with is, through all the purchasing and all the listings that I had to flip those properties, I just started to get my name out everywhere. And so what I learned from that was you have to think about yourself as a brand. And as you're building your brand, you want to keep on scaling that with, we're always tweaking our website to make it more professional and look better. And we're sending out postcards, and we want more signs in people's yards. And we want to be, then we start sponsoring sporting events, and we start, so it's a slow roll in the beginning. I know, because, you're making a living off of the commissions that you're making, but you have to, I can't think of the right word. You have to slice off a certain percentage of the commissions that you're making, and you have to start investing in your marketing, and you have to market yourself and be everywhere. So some things that are free or uh, not a big cost or not about a big pocket expense would be just talking to everybody and putting yourself in situations where you're going to meet new people all the time. You have to constantly think about that. It's like, okay, where can I go to meet people who are my perfect client? And that's where you need to make friends, and you're basically making friends with people and letting them know that you're in real estate. And if you're not, and the same thing goes for networking. I just went to a networking event last week. It was I don't know if this is definitely not a nationwide thing, but it's called Real Producers, and it's a real estate agent type of networking event. And we've got several thousand real estate agents in our local area here. And I go to the event, and there's only 50 people there. And I thought, if you're a new agent and you're trying to get ahead in this business and you're trying to succeed, why are you not at these types of events, talking to your peers, talking to other successful agents, and figuring out how they're getting leads and how they're becoming successful in business. So I know I got off track a little bit from how to generate leads, but those are the things that I feel are super important. And think of yourself as a brand, and how are you going to get yourself out there more and more and more and scale it as you go.
Awesome, thanks, Darren. I actually think what you brought up is very important. People, agents have to understand that we have, two things here when it comes to. I mean, obviously, we're running a business here, right? We're not employees of a company. We're running a business here, so we do have two different things that we have to focus on. One, like you said, is branding. Branding is not, has nothing to do with the actual real estate sale itself. You're branding yourself as an individual, or as a team, as a brokerage, putting yourself out there for everybody to know who you are, right? Hey, everybody, it's me, Darren. Hey, it's me, Fatty, right? So
Yeah.
people can know who you are. When they know who you are and what you do, right? When they think real estate, they're going to think you.
Right.
The more
Right.
the more branding you do, right? People are
Right.
going to know this is Darren. He's a top realtor. He's in the area, so on and so forth. And then marketing goes to the, in regards to the properties, right? Try to get the listings out there. Try to get the buyers. Try to market what you do out there. So it's great that you're able to understand the differences between those two, and hopefully
Sure.
everybody can understand that this is a very important and vital aspect when it
Right.
comes to real estate world. Great,
Exactly.
awesome, thanks, Aaron.
I just want to add another quick thing real quick. It's more of a long-term slow roll with social media, but we have 42,000 followers at Mancuso Homes right now, and it didn't start out that
Nice.
way. I mean,
Nice.
we would get 1 and 2 likes on a post in the beginning, but if you go to our social media pages and you look at it, every year we tweak things to make things more professional, more engaging, more and so that's something else that we really poured a lot into with social media, but it's not going to get you clients today. It's more of a long-term play with social media, and eventually, maybe a year or 2 years down the road, you start to see the results from that.
100%. And that's what the thing with branding. Branding is a slow motion ride. It's not something where you're instantly going to gain access. If you send over flyers to 3,000 homes, you're not instantly branded. It's going to take you months, maybe even years for people to know and relate the name to what you do. So branding, like you said, is a slow, especially with social media. So everybody has to be patient, you know. It does take a little bit of time. So it's great that you bring out that point. Thanks a lot, Darren. Talithia, talk to us. How do you generate leads? How do you gain business? What's your strategy?
Um, well, now I'm at a point where thankfully, it's primarily referrals. And however, I would say that one thing that has uh, uh, kind of generated more clients for me in the past 2 years or maybe 3 years has been Google. And my husband manages that. I have no clue how he generates the leads from there. Google Ads, and just making sure my Google business profile stands out. But I literally probably in the last year and a half, maybe 20 of my clients have come from just Google, and where they're searching for local realtors in the area and they come across my page and they're or they see an ad with my information, and then they will contact me, whether it's sometimes it's come list me calls or purchase, help them with the purchase. But and then every now and then I'll get, like, I have a listing appointment Sunday, but it's for I'm interviewing with, and there's two other agents, but they found me through Google as well. So I would say that's definitely helped my business a lot. And then um, my Facebook, my personal Facebook page. I do have a business page where once upon a time we ran ads on there, but I would say primarily my personal business page, because my personal page, because people follow me on there, and I've had literally several people reach out to me just over the years, and I didn't even know that they never liked a post that I've shared or anything. And then they're like, hey, my friend's selling their house. I told them that you could help them, that type of thing. And so I was just surprised that, like literally people are watching, but even though they don't say anything. And so that I would say has definitely helped as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. So, like with social media, a lot of people think that the like button or comments is what basically drives the business. People sometimes, they don't. It's not their thing. They don't like to click on, the like button or the heart button or whatnot. And they don't like to comment. Some people, you just observe, right? They scroll, they consume the content, right, and then they come back and approach you, or they communicate with you in a different way. So different people have different ways to communicate, but as long as you're continuing to do what you're doing, right, posting on social media, running the ads, doing what you're doing, eventually you're going to start gaining business. And the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out, as long as you have a strategic way of getting that marketing in there. And it's awesome what you're doing. I congratulate you for it. It's amazing.
Thank you. And one thing I wanted to add is that uh, I've seen a lot of far as like agent referrals. Um, that is helpful on the Google side as well, because uh, a lot of, does anybody really know an agent in all 50 states? But whenever somebody says they're moving somewhere, they're like, oh yeah, I'll connect you with somebody. And then they go on Google, right? So I've had several sales come in that way as well. And then they're on my Facebook page after that point. And so they follow you, and then and then in turn, also other agents you work with in your actual local area as well. And then it helps you on the other side with when you have, multiple offers and that type of thing. I've had a few agents where they're just like, oh, I want to work with you because, they'll see my posts and stuff like that, and they follow me on social media. So it has different avenues of definitely working in your favor.
Yeah, that's an excellent point that you bring up. And let me give you a little insight to everybody who kind of doesn't know what she's doing. So it's very important to be at the front line in every single platform out there. I mean, the number one platform for research to research any information is Google, right? So when you're Googling something, how to do this or how to do that, or what's this or what's that, usually the top 5, 6 results are what people are going to click on. And what her husband is doing and helping her do is be the top 5, 10, 3 search results on Google. And when somebody's trying to find out who that person is, if you're not in the, or trying to find a local realtor or whatever the case may be, if you're not in the top 5 or 10 results, you're not going to be, up in front of everybody. You're going to be kind of more irrelevant. So if you're able to, learn a little bit more about Google Ads, learn about how to get on Google results and be up there in the top 5 or 10 results, that's how you're gonna be able to go back to what Darren's saying is branding. It's a very important part of branding because then you'll look like the expert in that community. So great job. I mean, I like your strategy. It's beautiful, really nice. Mr. Singh, are you available now? Is your microphone working?
Saudi,
Sure
it
that
seems he's having some technical difficulties, but when he comes back, he's going to let me know. So then I'll let you know.
no problem. Sounds like a plan. All right,
Awesome.
since we're on this topic, right, and generating leads and whatnot, and and how different agents are, working with their clients and how they're gaining new clients. What advice would you give to newer agents so they can establish themselves with having a strong reputation? How do they build their brand other than just social media, or how do you build yourself as an individual out there? I know we touched on a little bit here and there with like networking and whatnot, but real quick for each panelist, what is the one main thing that you do that builds your brand and allows everybody to know who you are and what you do? Michelle?
Sorry. Sorry, I was just thinking about something else. Tell me the question
No
one more
worries. Yeah. So what is the one thing? I know you said you do, you go to the dog park, you go here, you go there, and you introduce yourself and start conversations. Do you feel like that's the main key for your branding, is that, networking with people one-on-one and building your brand that way?
time. Yeah, I would have to say that's true. Like I had a business before this, and so I just tap into that. And my tagline is expect more than just a transaction. So I take the opportunity to provide all sorts of services before and after that, don't cost anything or very little. And I don't know, I just constantly am adding value. And as a result, I get lots of referrals. And I really feel like that's my biggest bang for my buck, which literally costs nothing, basically, right? Like I don't advertise a lot. I do have social media. I do send out emails. I do have bit of a marketing campaign. I farm my own community. I serve on the um, community association board. Like I don't know. I'm just busy out in the world
Yep.
talking to people all the time.
So that's basically that's your main bread and butter right there for, connecting with people and building your brand and letting everybody know who you are. And like I said, that's one of the original ways of how people used to build their brand, was just word of mouth and one-on-one, face to face, which I think is the most intimate, most personal way to actually gain a client and help them build a relationship with them, not just short term for the transaction, like you said, long term as well. So I love it. Love it,
Yeah, well,
Michelle.
and then they always come back. That's the thing, right? Like now that I've been in real estate for 4 years, I'm starting to see the cycle of people coming, now they want to upsize, now they want to
Due to the value,
downsize.
yep. Due to the
But
value that you're giving them, 100%.
like I work with agents who are younger and chase online leads and Facebook ads, and great. They do an awesome job. That is just not for me. I just don't want to do that. So I just don't.
Perfect. And that's exactly what our agents should be doing is try them all, try all different ways of every aspect or avenue to gain that client, to gain a customer, to gain a buyer or a seller. But then whatever works for you, double down on it. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know, you don't have to be on social media. You don't have to be on, Google Ads or whatnot. Whatever works for you, double down on it. So I love it.
Yeah, agree.
Great job, Michelle. Darren, something about networking, going to different events, whatnot. Do you feel like you're kind of in the same position, or is there something else that you believe is your bread and butter and working with clients long term?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I thought the question was about branding. Did you
Yeah,
switch
no,
gears on me? I'm
branding.
sorry.
Yeah, basically on branding. Where do
Yeah.
you feel like you're getting to everybody to you're having everybody get to know you as Darren,
Right.
Ohio, #1 realtor? What is the one thing that you feel
Sure.
like is strong for you?
So for new agents, this is how I'm able to help them. So, and it's really great at EXP because, before when I was at Remax, I would have people jump on my team and you would pour into them, pour into them, pour into them. And then at some point you always have this fear in the back of your mind, like, oh my gosh, they're gonna leave me because they don't really need me anymore because I help them build their brand up so much. I know that we're a team, but I'm also building each individual agent on my team is building their own brand, which is their name. So my value to them is like, hey, if you need to jump on my team for a while, I will help you build your brand by every time you sell a house, I'm going to put you on my social media and 50,000 people are going to see that. You're going to get a 5-star review. I'm going to put you on my social media. People are going to see that. And so that's how I'm helping newer agents build their brand is by, I would recommend if you are a brand new agent, if you jump on a team, even if it's going into it, you know that it's going to be temporary, you can build your brand a lot quicker because you're going to do more transactions faster by being on a team, especially if they provide you with leads. And then because now we're at EXP, if somebody decides like, hey, Darren, I'm ready, I want to go solo or I want to build my own team, then I say, okay, great. It's not this big divorce where you're leaving me and this is terrible and how could you do this to me? It's no, you joined my team because I know that the end game is for me to help you go solo eventually if you want. And then I'll help you build your own team. And we're still working together as a partnership rather than I'm trying to hold on to you forever throughout your whole career just because if you leave me, we're technically not financially aligned anymore. So
Yeah, and that's the beauty of EXP is that, it's one big brokerage, one big office. It's not several little brokerages all over the country and everybody's competing against each other, this Remax office versus this Remax office. We're all one big family and we're able to
right.
use like Darren's team. I'm on Darren's team. Like this is their brand, right? Especially
Yes.
a new agent. Always go back and use EXP, use the team that you're joining or another team. We can use each other's listings. Hey, we at EXP just
Yes.
sold one around the block, and that's the beauty of it. I love it.
We're
That's
leveraging each other.
100% love it. Talithia, what is
Yes.
the one thing do you feel from the ones that you were some of the ways you were talking about in regards to like branding and thing? What do you think that is most effective for you that you can kind of like uh gear the newer agents to kind of like work on and try to focus on and see if hopefully they can become successful with?
Sure. So I'll share what I did actually when I first started. Um, is so I had deactivated my Facebook page in like 2009, and then the sponsor, she was just saying you have to let people know that you're a realtor now and everything, so I had to make the decision to get back on Facebook, I think at the end of 2017. And so I just made an announcement that I was a realtor then, and then also uh, what I did at that point was just reach out to a few different mortgage lenders and try to find, because when I started, I think I was like 26 or 27. So a lot of my peers not weren't necessarily homeowners just yet and or even know the process or that they can buy a home. So I just connected with a few different lenders to try to find out what programs there were for buyers to obtain their first home, or just what the qualifications were to confirm. I had already purchased my first home anyways, so I had already been through the process and knew a little bit of information to be able to extend to others. But I found that that was helpful because it's a nurturing thing, but you're still potentially going to have a client, in another year or two, but it's not an immediate thing. However, it was helpful because you're providing the value up front, and then in turn, they're going to remember to connect with you whenever they're ready. And then, I mean, of course, you have to follow up and everything like that. But I also started a Facebook group for people that were, if they weren't ready when I talked to them. And then I would also work with rental leads as well in the beginning and try to convert those, because sometimes people really just don't know that they can purchase, because they think their credit score has to be higher or income or whatever. And so if they weren't ready yet, I'm like, okay, great. Well, if you're interested in the future, do you mind if I add you to my Facebook group? I just provide like helpful information about the home buying process in there. I have a credit repair specialist. We do workshops in that group, home buyer events and that type of thing. And so now I have their information, and then I can continue to market to them over time until they are a client.
Beautiful. I like that. I mean, I think that's one of the key features that a real estate agent or realtor should have in their pocket is providing value in every way, shape, or form. Just because somebody's not ready at this moment doesn't mean you kick them to the curb, because somebody else is going to pick them up in a month or two, and it could have been one of the biggest transactions of your life. And sometimes it's not just financial, it's just maybe they're not ready. Maybe they're waiting for their son or daughter's wedding, or waiting for whatever the case may be so they can, move out to a smaller home or a bigger home or whatever the case may be. But nurturing a client, I think, is very, very important. And, newer agents should, not just look for the ready, willing, and able at that moment, and just capture everybody that you can and keep them in your portfolio, in your CRM, and nurture them, help them, and give them tips and tricks of what they need to do, refer them out to, different lenders to help them if they need some sort of financing, let them get, prepare them for you in the future. And I think that's great. I love it. I'm going to gear to something a little bit different now. I want to ask each one of you, what is the most challenging? Give me an example of one of the most challenging, transactions that you have to deal with. Like, it could be a buyer, it could be a seller, or something that, the, agents here at EXP can kind of benefit from. Tell us what happened, real quick, kind of summarize it. And what did you do to solve that problem? I'll give you guys like 30 seconds, kind of, think of something, and then we'll start with Michelle in a little bit.
Oh, I just recently had a really difficult transaction with a client, oddly enough, that I met at the dog park. And it was a very expensive house, and she wanted to list it higher than what it should have been listed for. And I agreed because I really wanted the listing. And it was really bad because then she would refuse to reduce it, even though, like I say, in this market, we have stuff going into multiple offers. And if you don't have interest within the first couple of weeks in a lot of showings or offers, you're too high. So, even though all the evidence pointed to that, she flatly refused to decrease the price, and she needed to sell. It was a divorce situation. So it just became this. Every time I thought about it, I would feel sick, and because I'd have to deal with her. And so, yeah, big lesson to, no listing is worth taking it if the price is inflated, and in your gut that it's not going to sell at that price or anywhere close. So if I had to do it again, I would not have taken the listing under those circumstances, and I wouldn't do it again for sure. I finally ended up selling it, but I double-ended it. So I had open houses every weekend. I was so desperate to get rid of it. And I managed to sell it to somebody who came to an open house, which is almost unheard of. And so I slashed my commissions on both ends just to get it done and get it out of my hair. It was awful.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, we have a little saying here. Mr. Al Abdullah, who's the guy that was running around earlier on stage, always kind of brings it out in our meetings and stuff. And we like the saying where it says, where we tell the sellers, and we kind of explain it to them, where if you price it low, watch it go. You price it right, watch them fight. Price it high, watch it die. And
Oh
we kind of
wow.
live, yeah, we kind of live by that. Price it low, watch it go. Price it right, watch them fight. Price it high, watch it die. So if you use that analogy in most cases and you help them understand, you know what I mean. And then sometimes, I mean, it is what it is. Family, friends, or maybe like Michelle was trying to do. I mean, if that property is strategically placed somewhere where you know you can gain a lot of business in that area, and you want to get your sign out there, you want everybody to know that you have that listing. Sometimes it might benefit you to just go that route, but it'll be a tough road to go across and go through. It is what it is sometimes. And maybe just the market in certain areas, you do list in a certain price and you think it's going to sell and it doesn't. But that's basically like the model that we kind of follow over here, and you guys can use it. We'll do it again. I'll have Al write it in there. Al, if you want to put it in the comments so everybody can kind of write it down, take it in there, it'd be great. So that great tips, Michelle. Darren, talk to us. Give me a example of something that a situation where it was a very tough transaction or something happened where it was a problem that you were having, and how'd you solve it?
Yep. So this just happened this week, and I'm fairly certain that everybody out here is going to relate to this. So an agent on my team called me up and she said, "Hey, listen, I got a referral from a deal that I just closed a couple weeks ago, and it was a referral, so you want to take extra good care of them." And she said, "I've been showing them a ton of houses and showing and showing and showing." And then she said, "I finally wrote an offer for them tonight, and they want to lowball the seller like $50,000 on a $500,000 house." And she goes, it's terrible. And like, how do I handle that? And so I said, "Okay, well, you've got to call them back up." And so there was two issues. The second issue was that if we haven't signed an exclusive buyer's agreement with our buyers up until that point, we automatically add that to our purchase agreement package that we send over to them. And we just say, "Hey, this is, I know we didn't sign this, but all of our buyers sign an exclusive buyer's agreement with us." And because our purchase agreement doesn't have a TC fee in it, it's in our exclusive buyer's agreement that we'll get a TC fee, which used to be directly in our purchase agreement when we were at Remax. So we sent that packet over to him, and he complained about that. He's like, "I wish you would have talked about this before we got started. And also, I want to offer $50,000 under ask." And so lots of problems going on with this client, and you have to try to manage that. So my solution to her was, well, you've got to call them back and you have to say, "Hey, listen, I'm not afraid to show you another 40 houses if that's what you want to do in order to find the right house. But once we find the right house, you have to be serious about wanting to win that house. And if you're gonna not listen to what I believe is the right price and the right terms and the right conditions to actually win the house, then I feel like we're wasting your time." And it's not wasting my time as the agent. I feel like wording is very important because people don't want to waste their own time. So it's about them too. It's like, "Hey, do you want to look at 40 more houses? And then when you find the right house, do you actually want to get it? Or are we just kind of messing around here?" So, and then in regards to the exclusive buyers agreement, I said, "This agreement is just an agreement to talk about what your responsibilities are in this relationship and what my responsibilities are. And it spells out our relationship. And yes, there's an expiration date on it of, a couple months or a year or whatever that is." And so I think a lot of buyers feel like you're trapping them. You're like, "Oh, I'm trapped." Well, if we're in this engagement together and you feel like this is not working out on either one of our parts, if we don't feel like we're a good fit for each other, and I like to say that because I like to let them know that if you're not a good fit for me, then we're not going to work together either. So this isn't just, "Oh, hey, if you feel like you want to fire me, then okay." It goes both ways. If we're not a good fit for each other, then we can split ways. at any point, and you're not really obligated to me at that point from that point further. But I certainly don't want to wake up on a Monday morning to a phone call or a text from you saying, oh, I'm so excited. We went to an open house over the weekend and we got one. That's the worst nightmare any agent could ever wake up to, is a phone call or email that they went out on their own and bought a for sale by owner or went to an open house and did something without you. And that's what the agreement spells out. So unfortunately, I don't have a good ending to the story, but I want to say that before we could even fire this client, he sent over an email or a text message that just said, hey, unfortunately, I don't think we're a good fit for each other and we'd like to go a different direction and whatnot. And she was a little bit upset about that. And I said, sometimes it's okay to let that go, because we can't waste time with people who aren't going to follow our lead and follow our direction, because we're the ones that know how to navigate this market. So I know that was a little bit lengthy, but I hope that you learned a little bit from that story. So
I think it's a great story, and I feel like the moral to the story, or like something that everybody should take in consideration from what Darren was saying, is that it's very, very important for, whether you're working with a buyer or a seller, to future pace them, right? Let them know in advance exactly what they're getting themselves into, and what's going to happen in the future. Like, what are the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything that the transaction is going to entail, so that they don't have to face it, in the middle of it, and be all scared and surprised, right? Because we're all human beings, right? If we know about something, if we already anticipated or expected it, that this might happen, we're not going to be, it's not going to affect us as much as an actual, surprise that'll happen, whether it be a compliance fee or transaction coordinator fee or whatever the case may be. It could be just, yeah, it could be just something that, oh, I didn't know that, this doesn't belong to the property, or this is how we close, or these are the fees. When you
right.
future pace your buyer or seller, you know what I mean? It becomes a smooth sailing transaction from there. And I
Yes.
like that. I love it. I love the
We can't,
story. And,
we can't be
please,
desperate all the time and just take a client just
yes,
because you absolutely, I know that you might be, need the business and it might be critical, but we can't be desperate. And it's better to let that client go and be more focused on the right client than it is to spend time with somebody, because your efforts could be out working on getting the right clients.
100%. We work on commissions. We don't get paid till we close. So if you're working with somebody that is a 10% chance that there's going to be any success, you're not only hurting yourself and not making any money and wasting your time, with a client that might not close, but you're also wasting their time, and you're going to look bad in front of them. And the first thing they're going to do is, yeah, I was working with this client and, it didn't work out, and it was their fault. So, and here's another saying that Al brought up. We use it here in our office and, with our team and our group, is, if you generate enough business, you don't have to tolerate those types of clients or that type of scenario, right? So the more, back to what we were saying originally about generating leads and generating clients, the more clients you can generate and put into your CRM and put into your book of business, the less you have to tolerate the ones that at that moment they're causing either a problem, or they're giving you a difficult time, or maybe they're just not ready. That's when you nurture them, like what Talithia was saying and what she does. Nurture them, and you don't have to spend that much time on them. Get them, put them on the path to success for the future, but focus on the ones that are ready to go right now. Love it. Beautiful, Darren. Talithia, talk to us. Tell us about a situation, something that happened to you. What happened, and what you did to solve the problem.
I've had a combination of everything that Michelle and Darren have shared already. Just give me kind of flashbacks. But I would say I would share something similar to what Michelle shared, in that in taking a listing where it's priced too high. As I mean, everybody wants listings, right? So um, I I let them know I didn't agree with the price, but and we were about 20,000 off from what, and I told them, are we agreeing that we would do a price reduction if after we're on the market X amount of days. I think I told them like a couple weeks, and they were like, well, we'll just see, and it was a referral. So I was trying to, you know, uh, work with them or whatnot, but it ended up just taking so much of my time that uh it I've I felt a certain type of way because I'm taking away from clients that actually do appreciate my efforts and knowledge and expertise, and I'm over here messing around with them, knowing that their house is overpriced. And then we finally took an offer that it was a little bit below list price. But I knew that they were going to come back and hit us hard with the home inspection, and they did. And then they ended up still not agreeing to even fix anything. So I just uh I just kind of separated myself from the, situation. They had some other family things going on, so it ended up um working out where, they're it wasn't where I had to like technically fire them. It was more so like, oh, okay, well, let's just take it off the market for right now, and then you all can let me know when you're ready. But honestly, I'm okay if they don't ever call me back again. But it takes so much of your time of focusing because you're still putting in all the effort that you would for any typical listing, knowing that it's not going to sell at that price. And the only time that I would have taken a chance with that prior to that was probably 2021, because honestly, sometimes you didn't know what a house would end up selling for, So you could potentially say, okay, I'll list it knowing that it's probably 20,000 over what we will probably get, but you never know. It could potentially have sold at that time when rates were crazy low. But aside from that, just sticking to the clients that actually are on the same page, or even if they wanted to do slightly higher, it's okay. But something where it's not going to sell. It's just some agents do take it and they're like, oh, you need to reduce your price, but you know that that's in the long run, if they're firm on it, you just wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why, again, it's very important to future pace, your client, to let them know. And as long as you did your job and you gave them the advice that they need to have, and everything's, everything's obvious, right? It's on pen and paper. You guys are sitting down, you guys are having that conversation, and you keep repeating it to them, then, it's not in your control anymore. There's nothing else you can do. You told them what's going to happen. You told them what they need to do. And after that, it's on them. I mean, nothing else you could do with that. So, yeah, love it. Great. Mr. Singh, are you available? Is your mic working? Can we hear you? Can you hear us? Hopefully, yes. Okay, that's fine. We still have about 5 more minutes. Real quick, does anybody have a something a little nugget each one wants to share real quick for a minute? Michelle?
A little nugget. I don't know.
Real quick, while you're thinking, Michelle.
Okay.
Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, so I was just hanging out with a good friend of mine. He's actually a KW agent, and we're out hanging out, and he's a golf pro at Top Golf, and he's also an agent at Keller Williams, soon to be EXP, but at the moment he's still Keller Williams. And so we're out, and he passes his business card out to every person we bump into. It doesn't matter. He's like, hey, I'm the Top Golf, I'm the pro over there. If you ever stop by, here's my card. I give lessons and whatever. And so I just noticed how excited he was about that, and how he passed out his cards like that all the time. Just every time we're together, I see him passing that card out. And we've been talking about coming to EXP and his business, and I said, you could be selling a lot more real estate as well if you were that excited about selling real estate. And so the idea that I had for him was, why don't you put your EXP information on one side and your golf lesson stuff and Top Golf on the other side, and you have to cross pollinate a little bit. And I feel like if he was that excited about passing out his cards for real estate and talk to people about that as well, he would definitely see an uptick in his business. So just an observation.
Nice, nice. Omnipresence. Let everybody know around you what you do, especially when you're excited about it. It's a conversation starter, and it's a great way to generate business. Love it. Anybody else?
I'm just
Michelle?
gonna piggyback on that because it's the same thing I said in the beginning, and it's exactly what he's saying is be a secret agent. Like, there's no point in doing all this work to just sit around and not tell people that you're an agent. Like, get out there, tell people, not in an obnoxious salesy way, but just in a way that you're looking to provide value and be helpful.
Definitely. If there's anything I can help you with, I'm your person. Call me anytime.
Right.
Any questions, concerns? Don't try to sell. Just come in a way where in a way of help, and they'll definitely be more attracted to you that way.
Right. And it kind of goes like that too for agent attraction. So while we've been talking this whole time about how to get yourself in environments where you're going to pick up more buyers and sellers, so I'm doing the same exact thing, but I'm doing it with the intention of how do I get myself around more real estate agents? And so we're having conversations with other real estate agents, but at the same time, I'm just really building relationships. And the same guy that I'm talking about from Keller Williams, I've been hanging out with him now for maybe a year and a half or 2 years, and he's finally ready to come over. But we had a conversation the other day that he's been talking to several other EXP agents, and I said, it basically boils down to who you have the best, who's the one that really brought EXP to you and that you feel have the best connection with. And he goes, hands down, Darren. He's like, you're my guy. He's like, when I'm coming to you. And so it's really about building relationships and putting yourself in the way of the business. You have to be thinking like, how do I get in environments where I can talk about my business and pass up my card and make relationships?
100% agreed. I love it, and that's something else that we can piggyback off of what you said in regards to like hanging out with other agents, getting to know other agents, and networking, especially in our EXP environment. We have so much to offer, right? We have a lot of experienced agents, a lot of top producers in the country, in different states, in different local regions. And I think that newer agents or agents that are just feel like they're not, excelling to the level that they want to get to, reach out, get to know everybody. Like, these masterminds, different seminars, coaching calls. We have so many ways of networking with EXP and that we can piggyback off each other because there's always something to be learned. Even if you're a top producer, you might learn from somebody that's new and then vice versa. So it's good to kind of, get to know everybody, network with everybody, get to know each other and learn from each other. I mean, this is the beauty of EXP is that we have that. We're not in competition with each other. We're actually working together. We're one big brokerage. Hands down, nothing can beat it. I've been here for a year. Love it. It's one of the best moves I've ever made in my life. And I don't think I'll ever go anywhere. As long as the XP is around, I'm around. And I hope everybody enjoyed today's iConversations. Brandon, thank you so much for let me be the moderator for this. It was a pleasure working with you guys. Darren, Michelle, Talithia, Mr. Singh, if you're there, if you can hear us, thank you for joining on. I mean, technical difficulties, nothing you could do about it. Hope everybody enjoyed it. If anybody has any questions, if anybody has anything, last concerns, anything, anybody,
I wanted to share one thing.
go ahead.
So I love it. If you don't have HomeBot, I love HomeBot. It's the lowest costing thing ever, and it's a touch monthly to your past clients that have bought with you to keep a home value up to date, and then they can it keeps them off of Zillow and third party sites, so they're looking to you for that information. And then always keep in touch. I do, like, I think Michelle had mentioned earlier, uh with my past clients, uh a mailer every other month for whatever holiday it is around then. And then also, whenever I have a closing with my clients, I can have them complete this keep in touch form. So I get I put down their settlement date so they get a home anniversary card. I get their birthday, and they don't remember they filled that out. So whenever I reach out with a card, they're like, "Oh, thank you so much for remembering," and that type of thing. So those things are important to kind of just stay top of mind with your clients for like the newer agents out there.
Nice, love it, love it. Well, great. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Remember HomeBot. Remember some of the different slogans that we kind of gave you. Look at Mr. Abdullah running around. Oh my God. Anyways, if you have any questions, any concerns, if you want to, network with me, You can communicate with me. You can get on any social media platform: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. It's at Dabaja Team. My last name, Dabaja Team. You can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on any social media platform using @dabajateam.com. It was a pleasure being here, Brian. Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Everybody appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep. See you guys at EXPCon, hopefully.
Let's do it. What is
Awesome.
Al
Thank you
doing?
all for joining. Al has been here for the whole show in spirit. Thank you, Al. You guys are great. Join us every Friday from 8:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for ICONversations.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. We'll see you guys
Take care,
next
guys.
Friday.
See you soon.
Awesome. See you guys.
Sure.